everybody.
Hi everybody.
Parashat Bamidbar, in the desert. We start the book of Bamidbar, which means in Hebrew, in the desert. This is the fourth book of the Torah, and in English they translated it to the book of Numbers. We start with Parashat Bamidbar, in the desert. Vaidaber Adonai el Moshe b'midbar Sinai, and God talks to Moshe in Midbar Sinai, in the desert. We start with the counting of the tribes. We have 12 tribes, and according to the Zohar, the 12 tribes are connected to the months of the year, and they're also connected to the signs of the Zodiac. Now, the tribes are being mentioned in the Torah 15 different times all around, but in different orders. In this parsha, the tribes are being mentioned by the way they are arranged around the tabernacle. The Zohar explains to us that each sign have its own corrections, and every sign has a connection to each tribe. Now, when the Torah was given, we got the opportunity to go above the stars, above the influence of the signs and the influence of the stars. And that's why in Judaism, you're not allowed to predict the future based on the stars. But it's very important for us to know that each person that is being born is born in a certain sign, and the sign have a direct connection to his correction. For instance, Aries, these people wants to destroy all the borders, all the boundaries, and everything suffocates them. They have no patience, they're very impulsive, and it's hard for them to get the right decision. And that's also their correction, because they need to be very patient and very careful and not impulsive. This is their main correction. Or for instance, Taurus. Taurus is very connected to the physical world. He looks for stability and security. They're very stubborn. But the Taurus, like in nature, he can run over everybody that stands in his way. So in order for him to get his security, the Taurus needs to understand that he needs to be sensitive to everybody that's around him, and needs to respect their will and their ambition for security. It's not only his security. Gemini are very intelligent people, very communicative, very, very curious, and also skeptic. And they can be very talented in so many different things. But that's also their correction, because they need to understand their own true will, and that's how they will find their correction, because they're all over the place. Cancer are very sensitive, and they're very dependent in their mate or in their parents, their family. They have a very strong power of giving, and this also drains them. That's their weakness. They get into depression, and they have the ability to draw illness and weakness from other people into them. And their correction is to find their inner power, so that they can take care of other people without draining themselves. The Leo are very dominant, very strong people. They got a lot of ego, a lot of pride. They need an audience against them all the time, and then appreciation words from here to the next city. And the Leo is a natural leader that is very assertive in a very natural way. But his correction is to know how to ask for help from somebody, and he needs to recognize his inner power without being appreciated, without being obeyed, and to have sensitivity to the people that are around him. The Virgo, for instance, these people came to save the world. They came here, and a lot of them became doctors, psychologists, people that help other people. But their problem is that they tend to focus on the problems of other people, and like bickering into them and looking for their problems instead of looking inside of them. Now, their correction is to look inside, to correct themselves before they judge others. The Libra, for instance, these people have pure heart. They love to please everybody. Sometimes they please the wrong person. And sometimes They give too much to other until they get drained. Also, they give too much to other and they harm their ability to independence. And the other person is getting angry about them. And their correction is to bring the true value, not to be dependent on what other people think about me. And they need to prevent over helping others in a way that they cannot grow. The Scorpion, very powerful people, very deep, very sensitive. They need to control everything that is around them, and they can fall easily to negativity. They can be jealous, they can be vengeance, and their correction is to connect to the inner good and to give more love to other people, because in order for them to give love, they need to stop to be jealous, and they need to choose mercy, grace, kindness, and this will lead them to forgiveness instead of the revenge that the Scorpio had. The Sagittarius, they're philosophers, they're natural leaders and good teachers. They think that others need to resolve their problems. And when that happens, they don't really appreciate the person that helps them. They have a lot of wonderful ideas, but they don't bring the energy for it to happen. They think that they're the people of the ideas and the others will work hard for them. And the correction for the Sagittarius is to discover the things that were meant for him and stop to wait for others to build something for them. Is that it's their idea, their plan. The Capricorn, these are materialistic people. They need money in order to feel security. And they might get away from the spiritual world, but then they will lose their way. So their correction is to bring the balance between materialism and spirituality so that they won't lose those. We have the Aquarius, very innovative people. Borderline is just a suggestion for them. And their life can fall into chaos because they have such a strong personality. They can become lonely and so strong, and they need to put borders to themselves. And they need to recognize that each and every person in the world has a part that he needs to do. And their correction is to be a part of the team and not to work just for themselves. Pisces, very spiritual people, very artistic, can do a lot of beautiful things, but sometimes they're not strong enough in order to avoid addictions like sex, food, alcohol, drugs, sleep. They have the power to be the most spiritual, the most elevated, but they can fall into sleepiness and to be apathic, and they need instant gratification, something that drains them right away. And their correction is to avoid that, to avoid their addictions, and to stop the instant gratification.
The 12 tribes were parking around the Ohel Moed, around the tabernacle, and they were divided to 4 camps. And in each camp there were 3 tribes. And each camp had a flag of its own and an angel that was guarding it. And Rabbi Menachem Rekanati, a very big rabbi that lived in Italy, that was born in 1250, is talking about it that each tribe also represent one of the 4 elements in our world. The south, which is also called Teimana, is the element of water. The east, which is also in the Torah called Kedma, is the spirit or the wind, the air. The west, which is called Yama, is the element of earth and dirt, ground. And the north, which is called Safona, is the element of fire. In the south, it's also considered the energy of the right, which is the mercy, sphere of chesed. You had the tribes of Reuven, which was the firstborn, Gad, and Shimon. And this camp was protected by the angel Michael. And with them, when they were walking in the desert, walked also the family from the tribe of Levi that was called Kehat. They were the ones that were carrying all the tools of the tabernacle. And that's Teimana. The east, which is Kedma, is the energy of center column, and that's Tiferet. And in here we have the tribes Yehuda, Judah, Yisachar, and Zvulun, and they were protected by the angel Uriel. And with them, when they were walking in the desert, walked Moshe, Aharon, and his sons, the Kohanim. In the west, Yama, this is the energy of Malchut, our physical world. That's why it's connected to the element of the earth. We had the tribes Ephraim, Menashe, and Binyamin. These are all the sons of Rachel, Rachel. And they were protected by the angel Raphael. And with them walked the family of the tribe of Levi called Gershon. And the last one, Tzafon or Tzafona, the north, that was the energy of the left column, Gvura, judgments. And here you had the tribes Dan, Asher, and Naphtali, and they were protected by the angel Gabriel, which is considered the minister of the army of the upper world. And with them walked the family of Merari from the tribe of Levi. Tribe of Levi was not counted here as a tribe or in a sign in a zodiac. It's like the 13th tribe, because the whole tribe of Levi was taken to serve the tabernacle as Kohanim, priests, or Levim, Levites. Why are we getting all these powers here? Angels, going above the zodiac. What's happening here? So the book of Bamidbar, in the desert, is talking about the place that the devil is strong. Because in the desert, there's no built cities and you're like in the middle of nowhere. So you can get great wisdom there, but it feels like you're not protected as you are when you're in your own home. So this is a time in the year that we have to use all the light that we can get, all the tools that we can get, and be more cautious. And because we know that in the desert, the devil is stronger, this is exactly where Hashem gave the Torah. Because he wanted to give us the tools to overcome negativity, to overcome the devil that is trying so hard to control our world. By reading this parasha, by going to the synagogue on Saturday morning, we can connect to the power of the guardian angels, and we can elevate ourselves to the place that we can really close and seal the gates that we leave open, maybe unconsciously, to the Satan, to the devil, to go into our world, our lives. This parasha is all about giving us a protection, building walls of positivity, of guardian angels to help us to fight negativity that is coming now. All the best.
All the best.